So according to a new report, Wendy Williams was at death's door back in 2020 when her friends found her catatonic in her New York City apartment. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So we just reported this past week that Wendy Williams checked herself into a, quote, wellness facility. Since then, there have been other reports saying that things had gotten worse leading up to her checking herself into this facility. And I say checking herself in because there are other reports saying that no, this was a forced situation, allegedly. Well, now we are also getting a better understanding as to what happened between Wendy Williams and her former DJ from the Wendy Williams show, DJ Boof. As you know, they were very good friends, also colleagues on her show, but he was always at her apartment during 2020, helping produce the show from her home. But there seemed to be a big falling out, and DJ Boof alluded on social media a lot of different things in regards to what was going on with Wendy, but no one wanted to believe him then. Since then, the two did reunite since the firing and situation. But now, according to sources, they're saying DJ Boof was one of those friends that helped her back in 2020 when she was at, quote, death's door. This is an exclusive coming from Page 6. They report this. Wendy Williams was at, quote, death's door and ultimately hospitalized for 2 blood transfusions 2 years ago due to her worsening alcohol addiction. Multiple sources are exclusively telling Page 6. The former daytime talk show host struggles came to a head back in May of 2020 when friends of hers, including DJ Boof, discovered Williams, quote, catatonic at her New York City apartment, where her former manager, Bernie Young, allegedly refused to call 911 out of fear it would become public knowledge. The source says this: I don't think he understood the extent of what was going on, and I don't think he wanted it to get out that she was not well, and he definitely didn't want a 911 call like what happened a year later. So you may recall Wendy Williams was taken to Beth Israel Hospital back in September of 2021 for a mental health check. All right. So according to Page 6, the sources, they say that Williams' New York City apartment was in disarray as a result of her addiction and poor health. They said it was pretty much a mess. It was a mess, the source says. She was in her robe. It was soiled. She was catatonic. She was in a very, very bad state. She was looking at the ceiling. She was just not responsive, but her eyes were open. But she was definitely in a catatonic state. Our source reveals that they discovered a, quote, case of alcohol, open wine bottles, and Kettle One. We started cleaning out a lot of liquor, according to this eyewitness. Our source claims they, as well as Boof, insisted that Bernie Young call paramedics or Williams' former sober team, which was headed by Ron Clinton, to get her help. In the meantime, our sources say that they and Boof fed the jock ice chips to keep her hydrated. She's going to die. She literally couldn't stand up, according to this source. She was just lying on top of the covers and she needed 911 help. And Young's like, we're not getting 911. Eventually, Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, and their son, Kevin Hunter Jr., got on the phone and begged her to get help. Kevin and Kevin Jr. were both saying, please come on, Mom. Let Ron and his team come up. Our source recalls, get some help. Kevin Sr. later confirmed this information and this event to Page 6 in regards to him and his son. So in regards to DJ Boof, as I said to you before, a lot of people had no idea what happened between DJ Boof and Wendy Williams. And we still don't know, but what we do know is that DJ Boof was there during this whole situation in 2020. So they say this: we're told Boof then drove Wendy in a car to the hospital where she received 2 blood transfusions because she was, quote, so low on iron. Multiple sources confirm. She remained under medical observation for about 4 or 5 days and had, quote, no recollection of the events that had transpired. Boof was the savior of her effing life, a second source says, noting that he went back to the apartment after he dropped her off to dump all of the alcohol. She was really, in my opinion, at death's door, our initial eyewitness says. If we were not there that day, she would not be here. She would not have made it. If it weren't for Kevin and Ron Clinton and his team, she wouldn't have made it. And I know what you guys are thinking. Did Kevin Sr., Kelvin Hunter, feed the story to the blogs, feed the story to Page 6? Possibly. But Kevin has openly talked about this incident a while ago. So they continue. They said neither Clinton nor Young returned Page 6's multiple requests for comment. The focus is not on anything from her past. The only focus we have at this time is for Wendy to continue to strive at getting better and moving forward, according to her publicist. Right now, she is healing and working on the second part of her documentary and her podcast. Oh, a second part to her documentary. She has several things that are demanding her attention right now, and past gossip is not one of them. And this is why we're still very concerned about the people that are around her. Look, I get it's a publicist. They have to kind of maneuver what might be really happening. But what we don't need happening is a bunch of yes people around Wendy that are not really getting her the help. If she is in a, quote, wellness facility and not an actual rehab that's going to help her. While Williams recovered from the traumatic incident, her health and wellness continued to roller coaster, according to Page 6. They say that she temporarily relocated to Florida to be closer to her son and seek treatment at a wellness center. However, her improvements were only temporary, as Page 6 confirmed Wednesday that she checked back into rehab facility to treat her addiction issues. According to a source during that report, they said it's gotten worse. She went from wine to straight up vodka. Williams' manager, Will Selby, told Page 6 Friday that she's sounding better and better every day. Her vitality and motivation is at an all-time high considering what she is going through. All she talked about is her upcoming projects with the Wendy Williams experience and her new documentary slated to come in 2023. In my last report and coverage of Wendy entering this wellness facility, I said to you, Wendy does not need to jump into anything. I get it. She's a worker bee. She's always been a worker bee. But based on what we keep hearing in regards to Wendy's sobriety, that needs to be her focus, not a documentary, not a podcast. And I get it. These folks want to make money. No, Wendy needs to focus on her health. Based off of this old story, and look, we've heard rumors of this story from 2020, which a lot of things happened since then. Wendy needs to take the time to just focus on her sobriety. And then maybe with due time, she can come back and work on something else. No one realized how much Wendy was dealing with behind the scenes and that she was dealing with this addiction. We know she's had an addiction over, years ago and somehow was able to move forward and be without that addiction. Who knows when this all started? And now that addiction from drugs to alcohol had taken place. And that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. We've heard about that before. I know Mary J. Blige talked about that. She went from one addiction to drinking a lot. Either way, I hope this next stint in rehab or this wellness facility does the trick for Wendy. And I hope that all these people that are around her will allow her the time to heal and encourage, because I know she might be saying, I'm ready. No, I hope that these people will encourage her to take the time to be better. Guys, I want to know your reaction to this story from 2020 and what they're saying in regards to her upcoming projects, another documentary, and her podcast. Guys, as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.